Next up, let me get this. Next up, it says, create focal image using die cut punch shapes.
Yes. And I had some punches. I thought I would create something. I'm going for a Day of the Dead page because I really love that holiday and celebrate it myself. I'm obviously not Latino or Hispanic, but where I live in southern Arizona, this is a very prevalent holiday. There's a big parade and people have puppets of Catranias and things. It's really fun. And I have an altar and I put out my dad's favorite foods like blue cheese and beer. And, you just think about people who have passed and honor them without being morbid. It's about celebrating their life and celebrating the things that they want and love. So I punched out some things and I think I'm still going to need some more, but I punched out a circle, and then I punched out some of these oval shapes, which were this. And these, by the way, these are watercolor paper, and they're just scraps. So I have, like, on my cutting board, when I cut things down to size to fit things, I have scraps. Like maybe I was cutting some ATCs or something out of a big sheet of watercolor paper. And then I end up with these little pieces. And they're good for punching or die cutting small die cuts out of. And that's what I was doing. So circles, ovals. I have this thing. I'm not sure what that shape is supposed to be, but I used it. So I had a couple of these ovals, and I thought maybe I would need to maybe I would just cut. See, even after you've punched something, you can still cut pieces of it off to make it a different shape. Like you might start with the shape that you wanted, and then like that's more the shape that I need. So I can take my glue stick and glue that onto that one, and it makes basically a skull shape, right? When Peg looked at this list, she's like, I don't have all that stuff down up here in this studio.
Well, I'm trying to figure out which of these papers I want to use to do my cuts with, because I didn't have a lot of orange stuff up here. You see the blue greens. I had blue, green, purple, that kind of stuff. But so I was digging through this stuff and I was looking at this because I pretty much matched that green that was in there, but I don't have any of the orange out here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this paper because it's got some of those orange tones in it. And this is just, I don't know, I think it's a piece of magazine or something maybe, because it's soft, but it's got paint. It's paint on both sides, and it's got the green and the. Anyway, that's what I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do instead of doing, what does it say, a die cut or a punch, for my focal image, I'm going to use a stencil because I can cut that out just like a die cut or a punch.
Yes, and just because we say use something, if you don't have it, if you don't have a punch or a die cut that is what you want to use, then use it, by all means, cut it yourself.
And that's what we mean by, this is just a guide to get you going, to get you started. It doesn't mean that it's set in stone that you have to do the steps the way we laid them out. You can do your own interpretation of them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. I want to get I was looking for a fine line pencil, which I'm not finding, so I guess I'll just use what I got here. Got a pencil, and I've got this stencil, which is a skull, and I want to go around the edge of this, but I also want to flip it over because if you notice the stencil, this portion of the face is the bony part of this skull is different on the other side of this stencil. And I want to get that complete shape. So I'm going to flip the stencil over. This is how you can, you know, use your stencil. And I want to line that up. Well, maybe I need at least the eye socket here. So I have an idea where the eyes are going to go. There's an eye socket and a nose and a mouth. And now I can flip it over and line my stencil up, because if you see on here, you can see the outline of that skull a little bit. And, you know, Day of the Dead, we got to have skulls, right?
Yeah, sugar skulls or
Yeah.
whole skeletons.
Yeah.
Whichever you want. This glue stick does not want to glue down my pieces very much. Heavy watercolor paper doesn't want to glue down.
Yeah. I'm just using this to get an idea of the shape of the skull, because this is what I want to not die cut, but just cut out of my paper. This is going to be my focal image. And you could layer this up, you know, because it's a journal page and I'm not going to take a lot of time, you could layer up this skull really easily because it's kind of segmented. You know, you could take this part and you could do another piece of paper and lay in these different sections. I might actually do that for the eye socket and that sort of thing. And you can definitely use like eyes that you're cutting out of magazines. That's always fun to do. Just take an image and collage that image on top.
Yeah, I don't think we were as, I mean, you know, we're giving you a whole week to do this, guys. So yeah, we're throwing ours together pretty fast because that's what we need to do to get on with other things that we need to do in our life. But take your time. Cut out some things from, you know, some other place like a magazine. That's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I'm looking around to see if I got any magazines laying around here, because I thought I might find. I'm going to take some of that other paper that I found, and I'm going to collage this a little bit, because I did find some darks in that stash of stuff. Let's see, what do I want to use here? So I've got some dark areas on these pages, and I think I'm going to take my stencil and draw around the eye section, because that can be layered on in that dark, and maybe where the nose is too here. So just so you can get an idea how you can play with some of these stencils and make them different. So this one becomes an eye there. Stencils are fun, you know, if you feel like you can't draw Sometimes just getting out stencils will help you be more creative. And then this one can go over here. So we've got our eye sockets. Let's do the nose.
Now I need a piece of dark paper. Maybe in this black. Got some black in here. Here's a piece of black that has been gel printed on, but I could just take that extra section and use it. And I wanted to find some smaller punches.
This is not the stencil piece, but I think this is going to require a mouth. So I'm thinking about putting a mouth on here. Like that. Yeah, that works. And I've got some of these.
It's probably just Mika. It's probably just, you know, the guy who brings the packages.
Yeah. Yay, packages. Yay.
That's enough. Don't need to go all crazy. There's no enemies at the gate.
So I'm going to glue.
Shh. No crazy talk. Shh.
These pieces on here.
Yeah, I'm just gluing as I go. I punched out this weird shape, which is like an odd square to make him a little hat. My little skelly guy. It's going to actually go over the edge here. But see how much fun you can have with punches and dies just with regular old shapes. You don't have to have a punch or die that's a specific shape.
No.
You can just have fun with whatever ones you end up with.
Okay.
This is a little leftover piece. I'm
going to glue this.
Also, sometimes you can punch with just, like, I got this one turned like this, right? I can punch with just the corner of it and get a triangle just by using just the corner. Don't even have to use the whole shape. And then with those two triangles, I can make a bow tie if I have a circle punch, which I'm going to go look for a circle.
I'm going to use another stencil. This one is kind of cool because it's got both the sugar skull stuff and the regular skeleton on it. This one is from Deco Art Media. It's an Andy Skinner stencil. But I think I also want to do florals because if you look at a lot of that Latin celebration stuff, they got a lot of florals in it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely florals.
So I wonder if I have any.
This one might be sticking a little bit.
These are not sticking down well enough for me. Get them to stay down.
That's fun. That punch is about had its day.
Okay, so I've got, this is a Jamie Doherty from Prima. I've got a couple of different florals. I've also got, this one is from who? I don't know. iStencil maybe? Anyway, I got a bunch of different floral things here. I think I want to put some viney leaf stuff in the background first, though. So let me get this stencil. This is a Gina K stencil. And see if I have some ink I want to use here. Because I am an ink girl.
That is true. That's kind of fun. Give him a little face, a little bow tie. And then he does need a little bit of a nose, which is going to be also a triangle. I might just take this little scrap and just cut like that. My scissors and just give him a little bit of a nose. So you get the idea, right? So that's just, playing with punches, playing with different punches. I happen to have on my drawer, in a drawer over here, which is right here in my desk. And I might actually maybe, I was thinking about this. This is, I don't know. I just like the way it looks. It's the tear out part from, I don't know. I just like it. Okay. So there's a spiral bound and then there's a perforated. This is in some journal that I have or some page that I have. Here we go. This one maybe has it. Okay. This one's not perforated, but you can see that for some of them, they put a perforation right there and you can tear the page out away from the spine. And then if you take it apart completely, like I obviously did at some point, you end up with something like this. And it just kind of reminds me of a fence or something. I don't know. I like it. So I thought maybe I would use it on my page. It was in my scraps. It was just there in my scraps. So it just would make an interesting element on here, I thought. And it's got a little bit of blue on it because it was something bled through on the page when I was using it. That book, whatever book that was, I don't even know. This was interesting by my cutting. I have a big guillotine cutter. And these were just things that were sitting by the cutter that had been cut off of other projects at some time during the last, however. And I was just looking for scraps and I saw these and I thought, hey, those are fun. Those are fun. I like them. And I also found a couple. Can I find another one? Like there's things that you could use, like I have a leaf, I have a flower. In this store, there's some other flowers. These might be kind of fun to maybe punch out of some colorful paper and add to it. And I'm messing up all my punch drawer and I'm going to have to figure out, it's like Tetris putting it back together. I might keep this circle. All right, so maybe marigolds might be fun. Or, marigolds are orange and they're something that's really used often on altars for Dia de los Muertos. So let's see if I can find some papers that might be fun to punch.
I went over to my drawers and I started digging through and I had a couple of Distress Oxide. I also have some spray ink in a newer color. This is Wicked Elixir.
Wicked Elixir.
Wicked Elixir. And I thought, oh, how appropriate is that? Well, this one has the mica in it and it's a green. So I thought, well, this would be good to use with what we're doing here. I also have a speckled egg this oxide because I want to use oxide ink on here or something, that's going to bury the layers underneath. When you have collage and color underneath, sometimes you need something that's more opaque. And so I'm picking things that have mica and the oxides, and that's just because I'm going to push the background into the background by using this type of product rather than a translucent product. So we'll see what this does. If I can ever get it open. That's the hard part, right? Getting it open. I like your little skeletal guy there.
Thanks.
Pretty cute.
Here's a few little leavies I thought might be kind of fun.
We used to build snowmen and Santa Clauses and all kinds of stuff out of our punches.
Yeah, that was what I was. It was kind of a throwback for today. That's what I was thinking about. Was either die cut shapes or punchy shapes could make some kind of a fun scene, right?
It sure can. I mean, you can build houses. You can. I mean, because punches and die cuts come in so many different shapes.
Yes.
I like basic shapes. Circles and squares and rectangles and triangles. Okay, so I think I got that off of there. So without killing myself. So I want to add, this is that green mica spray. I want to add that first and dry it down a little bit. So let's see if we can get it without going all over the place. Oh yeah, that's cool.
Those aren't very really too dark. I wonder if this would be better. It's like a lighter color.
Add a little bit in here. And
I did want to point out this piece too. So I'm going to use this someday on something else. This is like the leftovers of the punch, right?
Yep.
That right there is a cool little collage element for something else some other time. So I'm just going to put some flowers and leaves on here because I punched them out. So I'm going to glue them on. My little scene. Somehow I was going to get some of this even lighter color that I see on here. And this is just deli paper that's had excess paint scraped over the top of it. Literally, that's what it is. Just leftover paint. Same with this. This has got kind of some darker orange, so I thought maybe that might be interesting as well to get a little bit of variety. But I'm leaning in really hard into the colors from the slide. Really, really hard.
Really, 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 really hard.
Really, really hard.
So you guys, this is the shimmer that you get off of that green mica spray. And that again is Wicked Elixir. So this is a special edition for Halloween this year. I happened to get in on a sale, so I thought, well, why not? I'll get some of that. And then,
I mean, you can't go wrong with something named Wicked Elixir. That's just cool.
Yes, I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that. Look at that. It's got the shimmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna dry that, and it'll even become brighter because of the mica that's in it.
You want out. Is that it? Out, out, out. There you go. So I let her out, and of course, like in 3 seconds, she's gonna want back in.
Well, of course.
I can already tell she's gonna do it. She's gonna be like, nah, there was nothing out there. It was false alarm.
So how are you coming? You getting ready to move on to the next step?
Yeah, I'm just gluing on some flowers here.
Okay. So that was step 2, right? Or 3?
No, that was step
Step
3.
3.